Good morning, guys, and welcome to another episode of Bubba's Garage. Today is day 2 of the lighting build on the 2017 Jeep Wrangler Winter Edition. In our previous episode, we installed the Apollo Intech switch pod system. Definitely check the link there in the eye in the sky if you want to check that out. But today is not about the switch pod. Today, we're installing the J5 LED Lightbar from Quadratec, in addition to light bar brackets and a wiring harness. Are you guys ready? Are you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
That's good, because I'm counting on you to do 90% of this install. If you guys are ready, definitely stick around. This is a really cool, exciting product. It's different. It's definitely unique. It's definitely different.
It is different.
I have not seen anything that comes comparison to this whatsoever.
No.
Not yet.
No.
Not yet on the market. So we're going to be the first to do that right here, right now on Bubba's Garage. Alright guys, we got everything out of the boxes, and I'm not going to lie, that stuff, it was packed really well. So it took us a little bit. But what we have here is the J5 LED Lightbar by Quadratec, and this is a unique light bar because it has amber clearance lights. We're going to install that right here on Bubba's Garage, but not only that, we also have the 6-bolt Quadratec A-pillar light bar brackets that we're going to install. Honestly, they put the brackets that we installed on the Black Bear to shame. I'm not going to lie, they're definitely heavy duty. But we also have the actual wiring harness. We're actually going to show you how to install this wiring harness the way it is meant to be installed, and then we're going to show you how to install this with a switch pod system as well. So we're going to do both of those installs right here on Bubba's Garage. First up, before we can get started with that, we need to take and install the A-pillar brackets, and then we'll move on to get our light bar mounted. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. First thing we're going to do is add a little bit of tape to the hinge bracket, and that's just going to keep it in place because we do have to remove all 6 of these bolts, and we don't want the bracket to fall on the ground and get chipped. Next up, we got to remove the bolts. Now before we put the new brackets on, what we're going to do is we're going to clean up the A-pillar a little bit, then we're going to put in our gasket and mount that little fella. Alright guys, we got the brackets installed. Honestly, the brackets weren't too bad. You just need to take your time. They are a little bit tedious to get everything lined out. And honestly, if you can get a helper, that'd be greatly beneficial. The bolts are not completely tightened down. You don't want to torque your bolts at this point in time. You're going to put your light bar on top, and then you're going to pull your wiring harness down through the actual channel. And then after you do that, then you can tighten those bolts. Alright guys, we got the brackets installed, we got the light bar installed. Things went okay, kinda. We ran into a few snafus.
Yeah.
Just a few snafus, nothing major. We're going to talk about that here in just a moment. Next up is the accessory wiring harness provided by Quadratec. We're going to work on installing that, but I do want to also show you one other wiring option, and that is if you're using a switch control system.
Yes.
So we're going to show you that, but first up, we got to do the accessory wiring harness.
Yes.
So we're going to get started on that right now.
so now that we have that taken apart, what we're going to do now is we're going to install the wiring harness that's going to provide power to the provided switch. Now to do that, you're going to unplug the cigarette lighter wiring harness, plug from the car into this side, plug that back into the cigarette lighter, and then you're going to run these behind the dash to the driver's side for the actual switch.
So to wire the switch, it's actually labeled on the back. And what you're going to do is you're going to take your ground, which is your brown, you're going to attach it to the earth ground connection. And then you're going to take the yellow wire that you ran through the firewall from your light bar, and it's going to go in the center. And then you're going to take the red wire and you're going to attach it to the DC power side of the switch. And like I said, the switch is labeled. Next up, you're going to take the fuse side of your wiring harness and you're going to attach that to the positive side of your battery. And then you're going to take the other wire that's closest to your relay and that's going to go to your negative side. Now we're not doing that full installation right here on Bubba's Garage today because we're actually going to take and attach this system to a switch pod. Alright guys, that wraps up the install of the J5 LED Lightbar by Quadratec.
Yes.
Now guys, I'm not going to lie, we covered a lot, we covered it really fast.
Real fast.
So I'm going to give you a quick rundown and review of what we did install and what we think of it.
Yeah.
So first up was the brackets. The brackets that came with the kit. I'm not going to lie, thick guys. They're heavy.
Yes.
They're heavy. Almost a 1/4 inch thick. So
they're a lot thicker than I was expecting.
when you go to install these, get you a helper. And if not, get you some tape. And honestly, in this particular install, I used tape because you got to put some tape on the actual rubber gasket that goes back there.
That
and
helps.
it's hard.
It is.
It is hard to put that on, but it worked out really well. So definitely use the tape stuff. Now, one other thing I want to mention is the bolts. Guys,
Yes.
you need to get you some new bolts. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, these things are thick. These things are thick. I had 2 particular spots that the bolts wouldn't fit.
But in all fairness, we've installed a lot of brackets for these light bars, and we always seem to have trouble with these 2
Yeah,
bolts.
that is very true. So if you're going to get some high quality brackets that are going to be thick, well, just get you some bolts if your kit doesn't come with some, because you're going to need it.
And the thing is, they just need to be
just a little bit. They don't have to be that much longer, just a little
No.
bit. Now, one other thing I want to mention to you is that with these particular brackets, it raises the light bar about 1.5 inches above the roof line of the Jeep. So I know we've got a lot of questions on the forum. People have been asking that question. Be prepared with these brackets, you're going to get about 1.5 inches higher than the roof line on your Jeep. Now, with that said, you can use different brackets. This light bar is completely adjustable, left and right, etc., etc.
Yes.
You can use different brackets and maybe lower that light bar just a tad. Honestly, on the Black Bear, it worked out really well. We have different brackets on there and a 2-row LED, and they're just a shimmy above the roof line.
just a shim.
So it really depends on the brackets you're installing. Now, about the accessory wiring harness. Honestly, I was highly impressed.
Yeah.
I almost kind of hated to cut it.
I know.
I just hated to cut it. But here's the thing. That accessory wiring harness, if you're looking for something on a pinch and you don't want to cut any wires or anything like that on your Jeep, that accessory wiring harness is very impressive.
Yes.
It plugs into the auxiliary power in your vehicle and lights up the switch the whole 9 yards. It's a perfect fit.
It is.
There's no
Very
cutting.
much
It
so.
just plugs right in. So I was really impressed with that. Outside of that, the most important thing that you guys want to know about is the light bar. And honestly, we're going to take it out here shortly and we're going to play with it and just see how it turns out. But honestly, clearance lights, guys, come on. I mean, it's different. I mean, you know, when you're a Bubba and you work on Jeeps, I mean, you want to be different, right? And that's
the fun
exactly
of
what you're
having a
getting.
Jeep, is making it different.
Exactly, and that's exactly what you're getting right here with the J5 LED Lightbar by Quadratec. Now, guys, again, we covered a lot. We covered it really fast. So we're going to get out there. We're going to play with this over the next couple of days. If you guys have any questions on this, do me a favor. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think. Find me out on the forums. Ask me some questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them. So guys, do me a favor. If you like this video, give me a huge thumbs up. And if you really like this video and you want to stick around to find out what happens next right here on Bubba's Garage, please subscribe. And until next time, we'll see you on the flip side. Good night, everybody.
Good night.